Welcome everybody. Right now we actually have game number 2 of the TQ Open number 9 finals. RootDdoRo is spawning on the right of Lost Temple and he's going up against DDE, who's spawning on the left. He's a TVP on Lost Temple. Right now we did see DDE lose the last match. This is actually his loser's pick map. It's actually a pretty solid choice. It's a very good macro map, easy to defend, and it does have this ledge that can be pretty easily abused by Terran, just dropping a siege tank, using Vikings or whatever. It's a little hard to do that against Protoss than it is against Zerg, but it's definitely a possibility of something that he can do just as a little trick of the map. He's also got a really easy to defend natural expansion that can be really easily used by both Protoss and Terran. So really, if one of these guys can go for a fast expand build, that could be really strong, especially because with these spawning positions, it is the longest rush distances for both air and ground, which is definitely a really key aspect. As really DDoRo last time, he actually went for some really interesting Phoenix play. So if he decides to do that again, this could be actually a good time for DDE just to be able to scout that and have enough time just to be able to prepare for it. Though with the fast reactor from DDE, it's definitely a lot harder for DDoRo to actually be able to successfully use Phoenixes to really harass him. But right now, there's not really anything that is really going out of the ordinary. It's just sort of wall-offs at the front. Wait, DDE's walling off with the barracks like this. He actually might be trying to, he might go for some kind of add-on, just use 2 supply depots down here. So it could be a reactor or tech lab. Well, if it's a fast tech lab, we can see some interesting deviation immediately early on. Right now we can see that, oh, actually DDoRo just did some good damage, this one SCV. Doing 20 damage, but it took 25, so it does actually take health damage instead of just shields. So DDoRo's gonna be able to run around and really be able to replenish it and then start harassing again. DDE does have this SCV here, so he will be able to stop the pro from doing too much. Yeah, you can see it does get pulled away before it takes hull damage this time. We do have a fast marine coming out from DDE, which will be able to thwart this pro from really learning anything, as DDE will most likely wait in order to get what he wants. Really get what he wants and just make sure that the probe doesn't see it. And DDoRo, wisely enough, is actually going to be able to pull his probe away, keep it alive, instead of letting it die to this marine. We do have another marine coming out, and no, is it DDE going to finish off his wall? There it is. And it seems like with this placement, he will be going for an add-on right here. It's a matter of what is. It will most likely be a reactor, judging from the last game. And right now, DDoRo is actually probably fear some air placements, air attack. As you can see, that this pylon does give a lot of vision of this high ground or area over here, which is a really good spot to drop. In case you guys were wondering, DDE is now going to run around the base. We do have the same fast stalker and chrono boosting out of the warp gate that DDoRo did last game. He's going to throw down another pylon down here. Yep, he is. So actually, DDoRo is immediately doing something that I really like, going for a good solid spread of pylons to make sure that he has vision of everywhere in his base. Definitely going to be good for keeping an eye on DDE if DDE does try to do some drops, because those can do a ton of damage, especially with the way medevacs work. With the medevacs and healing the bio units, it can be incredibly deadly. And now DDE has enough for a really fast starport, so he could be doing another 1-1-1, and yep, he does. If he throws on a tech lab, no, Hellion. It might be a Hellion and then a tech lab on this factory to go for either the fast Raven like he did last game or for Banshees this time. Both are definitely really good ideas. They both have their own uses. And DDE could definitely do if he SCVs better than last game, this could go a lot more his way. He didn't do enough with that last game, but right now we can see that DDoRo does have a very large amount of pros. I think it's only been chrono boosting the Nexus and the Cybernetics core just to get the fast warp gate out. He's also got a sentry over here, and oh look, we do have a fast expansion from DDoRo. It does seem like he is going to do this 1 gate fast expand build here. I think DDoRo might be thinking that a Reaper might be coming, but I think he'll be okay. He does see the Hellion, he sees these Marines, and he actually did a lot of damage to the Marines with just that one Stalker, so that must have been some really good micro from him on that. He does see this Hellion, and the Hellion's actually going to get into the main. It's going to see, oh, is DDoRo going to block it? That's actually really clever to make sure that that DDE cannot get into the main base, but the Hellion does see the expansion, which is really all it needed to see. So DDoRo immediately doing something incredibly genius with this probe and this pylon. Definitely very smart. And this Stalker itself has been able to do so much damage by itself without taking any real damage. It has injured all of these 4 Marines and this Hellion as well. So I'm really impressed with DDoRo just right off the bat from that alone. Now he is throwing down 3 more gateways, or no, 2 gateways and a robo. So he's going to go for a normal follow-up, just doing, probably go for Colossus. That is what he tried to do last game, and it actually worked out quite well for him. And with the economic play he's going for right now, it could be really, really great. We do have another Raven coming out from DDE instead of a Banshee. But he's got to adjust, do something different from last game, as he wasn't able to do enough in the last game. I would really hope for a Banshee. Yeah, he's going for the Banshee next. And if he pushes with all these Marines, this Raven, as well as a Hellion or two, it could be really deadly against its fastest span of RootDdoRo. And if he can micro that efficiently, make sure all the Stalkers succumb to the point defense drone, it could actually be really, really effective. And I would definitely hope that he does something like that. Now we do see that there's no cloak. It just seems like it's going to be straight up Banshees. And a Siege Tank is actually coming out now as well. DD is kind of going for a lot of different tech paths at once. The Siege Tanks, the Bio Units, as well as a Raven and Banshee. I don't know how it's going to work out. It's really varied. And I don't know if it's going to take too long to really get up the Siege Tanks, that they're a lot better in numbers. And he doesn't have Siege Mode. Without Siege Mode, I don't really know how well this can actually handle it, but the fact that he does have a Raven and a Banshee out means that Stalkers are going to be a lot less effective, as the point defense will stop them, and the Raven will and the Banshee will just kill them. But right now, RootDdoRo is able to get a ton of economy without any pressure from DDE, which is kind of questionable. There doesn't seem that there's any other command centers right now either for DD, and he was not even constantly producing SCVs. If we look at the income for a second, we can see that 24 SCVs to 34 probes. So RootDdoRo is also ready for these Banshees. So he does have an observer out with these Stalkers in the back. And the same thing back here, though no observer quite yet, but he does have the second one right there. Now he's going to get Immortals, and he will be able to do a ton of damage. Does seem that DD is going to want to push out. Now he's a healthy amount of Marines. He's got SCVs with them. But this Stalker is going to be able to see it, and DDE is going to have to make sure that he doesn't lose his Banshee if he sends it too far ahead, as it is moving faster than everything else. These SCVs are on auto repair. This medevac is out. So now the Marines that were injured before have now been healed, and the medevac did lose some energy, but it's no big deal. RootDdoRo does get scanned, and he immediately pulls back. He cannot defeat this force, so the account of it right now. So he might actually end up giving up his expansion. He's got to move away his observer right now, as there is a Raven to detect. And DD is going to be able to come in here. There's a sizable army from RootDdoRo, but because of the point defense drone that's out, his Stalkers won't be able to do a thing. So DD is doing a really good job with his push. He'll be able to take out this Nexus, and you can see that these Stalkers are definitely getting, yeah, you can see the point defense drone shooting down their lasers. So DDE is doing a really good job taking out the expansion. He's got to throw down his zone if he wants to be able to just increase his lead or just to go for a immediate win. The point defense drone here, it still has a bunch of energy. The Raven almost has enough for another point defense drone. But now we have another Banshee coming in. Still no cloak, but still it's actually really, really good from DDE. But you can see RootDdoRo's got to push in. He's got to push in or do some kind of damage. Try and get some shots off. One Marine does take one hit, but that means he's gonna get killed by his medevac. But how's RootDdoRo's got to come back into this? He's in a really tough spot. He actually misplaces a force field. Marines can definitely get through that, but that would just give RootDdoRo one Marine at a time and just smorgasbord of delicious dead Marine. But that's not going to happen. He's not pushing in. There is DDE is now throwing down his expansion, and it is going to get seen by RootDdoRo, so he knows that he's got to handle this somehow, and he's going to be able to get his expansion up as well. DDE's actually, okay, he's not going to lead in with these Banshees or Raven. But still, RootDdoRo does have a healthy amount of Stalkers, which is really going to take a lot of damage from the Raven that has enough energy to throw down another point defense drone. DD is going to push in. Where's the force? Okay, good force to split these off, and now these guys will die. So really good force by RootDdoRo. Just take out a little bit of the army. DD should probably just start attacking with those guys because they're going to die anyway. Chooses not to, although he might try and harass with these Banshees, which is not a good idea. He's pulling out his main force, but to separate them like this, yeah, look at this. RootDdoRo expects this, and now these guys might actually fall. They're going to be able to attack in, but the Zealots actually mispositioning themselves and taking a lot of room away from the Stalkers. A lot more Stalkers could have actually attacked these Banshees and maybe even killed one of them. But instead, the Banshees will be able to run away and be perfectly okay. But now DD does have his expansion up. He's going to throw down some refineries. He's getting his second orbital command. He's going to transfer some SCVs and do a lot of damage that way. Now, RootDdoRo did get his Colossus tech up, but throwing down his expansion again, he wasn't able to use much of his expansion. As you can see, most of them are over 1,300 right now. barely under 1400 really. So DDE did a perfect timing push with that, taking out the Nexus, doing a ton of damage, getting up his own expansion, so he's in a really good spot right now. You can see that RootDdoRo is still fearing the Banshee harassment. He's finally getting extended thermal lance and getting up with his Colossi count. Still only one is here though. But really, DDE with his Raven still alive and enough energy to almost throw down 2-point defense drone, he'll be perfectly okay. We do have 3 Banshees out now, and could they get... Oh, they're actually going to run right by, but that's a lot of DPS to lose for this. But okay, now... Alright, so there was a slight technical hiccup a second ago, so I'm going to start just right back here, getting continue casting. I think this is a little before the spot, but okay, yeah. The Banshees are going to come here, try and snipe off the Colossus. Instead, they're going to take a few free shots from these Stalkers. The Stalkers, oh, they're actually going to get hit by this, but they actually get... The Banshees will be able to run and get a few probe kills and then just run away. And this another Colossus is out. The Banshees are going to try and get some, at least very least, get some scouting done, which they do. But oh, actually really good. Oh, almost pincer from the Stalkers over there. So this, oh, the Banshees actually all going to escape alive, except for now they try to. Oh, they're taking hits, but they're trying to take down the Colossus, but that's being really, really greedy by DDE, as these Colossi do still have the 150 shields that are just taking all the hits and allowing these Banshees to take free damage. He should repair them now, and oh, his Commander doesn't have a rally point. You might want to set that, otherwise it's going to be a little bad, but still. These SCVs are about to repair the Banshees, make sure that really no damage was done, and RootDdoRo is going to continue just macroing up. He does have his expansion up again. And if we look at the food counts for a second, we can see that DDE is actually behind. Look at that, DDE is behind 20 food. That's actually really impressive. The macro RootDdoRo is just proving to be so powerful that DDE is just not able to do enough. You can see that his SCV count is not near the saturation of RootDdoRo, as he's almost mined out his main, and it has all of these probes in the natural and these ones transferring. There's even another Colossus out, so RootDdoRo is proving to have impeccable macro skills. He can actually, he's also going to start taking down the gold. If he can get this up, that would really just seal the deal in terms of macro, because with the way he's been able to handle himself, DDE has no chance unless he gets up another base soon. But, oh, actually, look at that. That Observer just got sniped by the Raven. Just Raven giving the range of the bunkers to really hit the Observer. So good job with that. And now RootDdoRo is just continuing to macro up more so than he already was doing. Like, his money is a little high, but he can throw down an expansion right now. He did take out the rocks, and he'll be able to do a good push. And oh, look at this. DD is going to try and do some more harassment with these Banshees. But double Stargate from RootDdoRo, so he's really going to go for an interesting transition right now. I really hope for a Carriers or a Mothership, because that would just be beautiful. But now we do have these 3 Stalkers that are going to die to this count of Banshees. And more Stalkers are being warped in as well. They're going to try and come in and do some sniping. They're going to be able to take out one of these. Okay, he's got to take that. That did not go down. One more hit, and that would have just died. But instead, DDE is getting really lucky and having all his Banshees stay alive. But look at this. RootDdoRo is going to be able to throw down his expansion at his gold. So he's going to be able to have a really huge macro increase right now once he actually does this. But now DDE's got Ghosts out as well, so we'll be able to EMP the army and all the sentries of RootDdoRo, which is really going to be... actually, he doesn't have that much sentries to begin with, but he still has these 4 Colossi do a ton of DPS. And he's also fearing that some Banshees are going to come back here, but RootDdoRo's going to be okay. He does see this entire force moving down. It is a really strong force, and siege tanks finally do have siege mode. So that's definitely going to help out DDE, especially in terms of adjusting from the last game. So the last game he did not have that. But still, RootDdoRo does have a ton of Stalkers here. And there's the goal going down for DDE. So DDE is not far behind with macro. It's going to be okay with that. And, oh, he's going to start trying to lead in front of with his Ghost and get some good EMPs off. It seems like he will try and do that. Yep, there it is on all those things. And, okay, one Ghost does get taken out, but still, there's no shields on any of these guys. This is a good time for DDE. Okay, DDE's not going to push in. He probably sees the Phoenixes and thinks that he can't do much, but the Phoenixes actually got EMP'd as well. But you have these 4 Zealots going to come in, and DD's going to siege up, and RootDdoRo's got to have to move in. Okay, every got EMP, but here a big battle, big massive battle. DDE has a really good positioning right now, but RootDdoRo has all these Colossi that are just not dying. The Vikings are attacking the Phoenixes instead of the Colossus, allowing the Colossi and ground army of RootDdoRo to just slaughter everything. Point defense drones or not, there was just too much from RootDdoRo. The Phoenixes were being targeted by the Vikings instead of the Vikings targeting the Colossi, which just allowed so much to be done, and I'm thinking that means GG, but I think that's Korean, and that is not something I understand. But there's GG from DDE. But so RootDdoRo is going to emerge victorious with really, really one-sided wins, proving to be had the best macro that I've seen in a long time. Look at this, just warping in units. His money is low. At the end of the game, it's 85, 108, and DDE just has over 1,000 total. So the macro of RootDdoRo was just perfect. Really solid games. RootDdoRo is going to be the winner of the TQ Open number 9. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to compete in the future. We do hold these things weekly, open diamond tournaments, and you can play against people like this, and you'll learn a ton. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.